You know, if you like your job, you like what you're doing, it's pretty easy, you know, and then the people that you meet along the way, right? It's fun. Like everybody that, you know, that we talk with, all the sub-trades, I mean, we could all go have a beer together.
Okay, John Nystad's in the office for our next episode here. And John, thank you for coming downtown to be on my show. And I think, heck, I've been working with you for many, many years, and I've always wanted to do an interview with you. You're very interesting. And when I golf with you, you have the best stories. So when it came to like, we need another contractor on the show, I'm like, John Nystad, he's got the best construction stories.
Another one?
Another one? Yeah, you are the another one. No, I just thought you were... I just think you'd make a great interview, and thank you for accepting.
Hey, not a problem. Glad
You've
to
had
be
a
here, man.
storied career, and Nystad, the famous firm that you own, is just full of great projects, great website, and a beautiful portfolio. I think looking back and knowing your history, you told me once that it started with your dad and your brother. Was that under the word Nystad, or did you guys have a different brand in the beginning, the three of you?
No, you know, it's kind of a funny story because Nystad started when, you know, interest rates for 21%.
82, 83?
82, 83, right?
That's the start. Good.
We're all working for, you know, pretty large companies at that time. Batoni and myself. Art was with Batoni, Dad was with Richfield. And so, you know, we're looking back then and you could just sort of see the writing on the wall. I mean, companies were starting to shut down. The economy was starting to falter, starting to shut down. So it was just a matter of time before we had to do something. And I think we were sitting around a Christmas table back in 83 and
83.
we talked about it and said, you know, hey, if all else goes to crap, I mean, why not? Let's just start our own company. We'll call it, I don't know, 3 Stads, or maybe we'll call it Nystad. And we laughed a bit, and sure enough, you know, 3 months later, everybody's out of a job, and that's how Nystad started. So it was kind of on a whim 40 years ago.
Yeah, but it worked. The name is very memorable.
Yeah.
And I like how it ties into your last name. Is it always been commercial construction? Where did you start? Like, where did you guys get your start?
Yeah,
and what was the start actually what you were aiming for? Or did you just fall into the first project?
No, I think it was survival at that point, right? So, you know, we're mainly commercial, right? My father,
from day one, not
myself,
homes, not condos.
and even our Art was a chief designer over at Batoni. So when he came in, right, with 3 of us, just started up. But then Art left kind of immediately, and because his forte was more custom homes.
Yeah.
So something that we didn't do.
Portfolio.
So yeah, so he kind of took the Nystad name and went Nystad Design way, and my dad and I did Nystad Construction, and then about 10 years after that, my father retired. So it's been the way it's been since. So
you've been on your own since the mid-90s.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, 1984.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your dad's first name was?
Joe.
Joe Nystad.
Joe Nystad.
I like the Joe. And you grew up, the family's from Edmonton? Like, where'd you guys grow up?
We grew up in Calgary, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so moved here in '75, but you know, always been in the construction. Dad was always in the construction industry, so you know, Art and I were always in construction for, well, you know, growing up in it.
As long as you can, because
growing up in it.
your dad's doing it.
Yeah, the next
And your
stop.
schooling was in Calgary, or did you come back up to Edmonton for NAIT?
Wasn't Calgary, but we went here to NAIT to become a carpenter. So carpenter by trade.
So Edmonton was where you came for schooling, and you've stayed ever since?
Edmonton, we've been here for 48 years. So.
And you got married in Edmonton.
Married in Edmonton.
Kids in Edmonton. Like, Edmonton's
everything.
home.
Edmonton's home, and it's a great city. Love the city.
And 2 kids, married them recently.
Married recently.
So now you're empty nesters. You guys are good to go. Ready to move downtown into a condo? What are you going to do?
No, I don't think so.
Stay in the house? Okay. You need the space.
We can wave across.
You said you like the lawn, so you like cutting the grass.
You got to be doing something, right?
Good.
So, you know, trying to work your way out of this business now, so you got to have something to do. So I guess lawn or grass cutting is my forte.
So take us back. Our viewers are going to want to know how it is to work in a family business or work with Dad. Take us back to those first years. How was it working with your dad, Mr. Joe?
I worked with Dad, you know, with Richfield, so I was getting my carpentry at that time. And you know what? getting to work with your dad is it's pretty cool. I think maybe they're a little tougher, but I think any kid that can get an opportunity to work with one of their parents some point in their life, pretty fantastic. And now I have my son working with us. He's a superintendent for us, and I'm loving it. It's a good thing.
Yes, it's almost repeating itself.
Yeah, it's a great thing, right?
And the projects that came in the door in the beginning were what? You said commercial, but what type of projects were you chasing in the beginning?
Always commercial. At the beginning, at the beginning it was West Edmonton Mall.
So you're doing retail?
West Edmonton Mall was just up and running, and so we knew a lot of people. I built the parkades out there. So knew a lot of people out there. Everybody wanted stores built, so we started building a pile of stores, and then just never really kind of looked back, right?
And all the way to hospitality, where I've met you.
Yeah,
You've done a lot of great restaurants with us.
Yeah.
And hotel work.
Hotels, car dealerships, warehouses.
Yeah, car dealerships is crazy, so that's a different angle. And ground up stuff too.
And all ground, mostly ground up.
A dealership would be ground up.
Yep.
What was that spin? Was that from day one, or did you actually slowly get into ground up work?
No, it's just, in this business, you just run into so many different people, right? Your circle of friends just get that much bigger, and then people ask you, hey, can you do this or you can do that? And so we got together with a different group of people, right? And so we started doing dealerships. And so, yeah, just a bunch of everything, really.
And you stuck to that, because I know you just wrapped up another dealership in West Edmonton.
Yeah.
Where are you? Like, that niche is really nice, and you got your clientele in that business. Are they as hard to do as they look, or are they pretty easy projects?
No, I think any project is, they're all, I wouldn't say difficult to do, but they're all different interests. I mean, we've done a lot of restoration work. We've done a lot of hotels.
Yeah.
Big box. So there's a lot of different things there. So it's not. I don't think it's really difficult. It's just getting to know the people, understanding what you're doing, understanding what they're doing. So.
Is there a big like a push from the big brand that owns the dealership, or a big push from the brand that, like the brand of the car? Do they have? Because they have their own design statement, their own design elements. How easy is it to work with and implement, a dealership and look from Toronto, from Detroit, from Germany? Like, how do you guys work with those teams?
Well, most of the dealerships have design control documents, DCDs. So, it's already put into place. So there's really not a lot of gray area when you're building a car dealership. I mean, there's, when we're doing restaurants or one-up, so there's always things that come up. There's always little things, little nuances that come up with that. But
so
car dealerships are like, when you're building one here, you're building one there. They're all identical pretty well. So
and I think scale would be very similar too.
Yeah, pretty well the same scale. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of dealerships, I know you just, like I said, you built the new Volkswagen dealership in West Edmonton. What is the spin and what is the change in the new dealerships with regards to electric vehicles? What changed?
Well, we're learning as we go as well, right? As far as what the power consumption is like. What it needs for electrical, what it needs for mechanical. We still don't know, right? There's still a lot of unknowns with that as well, right? Engineers are getting involved. Even the mechanical engineers are getting involved. For electric vehicles to, So it's a different thing. It's a neat learning curve. It's interesting to see how it works. These cars are getting very interesting. So the technology changes, literally daily. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 10 years. I think at some point in our lifetime, we'll probably own an electric car, I'm thinking, right?
I think it's moving really fast. I'm excited to go see the dealership, generally speaking, because I like Volkswagen.
Yeah.
But in regards to their electric lineup, I'm sure it's going to fit into the design. And
it's getting really exciting.
Like, we got to design around them now, right?
I had one for a day, and it was pretty interesting to drive around. I mean,
in an electric car.
They do have a lot of power, but they do not make any noise.
Yes, that could be unsafe.
You got to watch for the pedestrians.
There you go. Tell us on your restaurant side, what would take us back to your first restaurant? What got you into the restaurant construction business? Because I know you've worked with some very large brands and like multiple units. What do you find attractive about doing chains and multi-unit restaurants versus one-ofs?
There's I don't know how you'd put that. I mean, we've done a lot of the big chains. Like we did a lot of the work for Cara Foods. So,
big chain.
We got involved with those folks across the country. So that worked out very well. Like the newer ones, the ones that is kind of more your forte, is interesting because every project is different. Every
one of is different.
Yeah, when you're doing a pile of them, you can source all the material for 10 at a time. For your restaurants, like you have to source it for one individual restaurant. Millwork is different, fabrics are different, everything is different, right? So it's.
And is it easier then, or is it just more convenient to do 10 ofs?
Oh, it's more convenient, of course, to do 10 up, for sure, right? But it's more interesting when you can put your name on something that stands right out.
And that's a one of.
Yeah, when you have one ofs, I think those are very special.
And you've done both over the years, so definitely Tristad's finished some pretty big jobs here in town, even for me, but like your own clients. And you've taken it to, it's taken you to Vancouver, Calgary, all the way to Toronto, Montreal. Have you gone past Toronto
Thunder
too?
Bay, everywhere.
Thunder Bay, everywhere.
Everywhere.
So Cara would be cross Canada.
Oh yeah, Nova Scotia, you name it. We've been everywhere.
Wow. And that is your team going from Edmonton, or would you hire locals at that point?
No, everything is local there. We send one or two of our team members out there, but everything else is local. I mean, they have to support
Yeah.
they're there to support it. I mean, we just don't bring any of the trades into there. That wouldn't be nice. That wouldn't be fair.
Now you dabble in retail construction, and you told me that's where you got your start with some Tamal. To me, automotive is also retail because you're selling a car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some would say hotels are retail because you're selling sleep, and restaurants are retail because you're selling food. But true retail is mall retail. Are you still in that business, or just what comes in? Do you chase retail a lot in the malls?
Sometimes we do. I mean, we it's really who you know.
Okay.
Like the people
that's how
will
you
call
get the
you up,
jobs,
and so we have a pretty range of portfolio. So there's not a lot of things that we don't really do, but we do have high-rise experience from past before Tristad, but other than that, I mean it's not hard. The construction industry isn't difficult. You can make it difficult, but it's not difficult. If you surround yourself with the right people, the right teams, the right sub-trades, you have the right information. That's not that difficult.
Retail would be what we see as the difficulty with retail is the fact that you are in a different environment. You're in an enclosed environment, so harder on the contractor to demo or get stuff in.
Yep.
Other factors include just logistics or where it is. And sometimes timelines. I find some of my retail spaces are quicker than, say, a restaurant or a dealership, or a ground-up building. So they do speed up. We were fortunate to work with you on KDM's head office. So in that case, we got a couple acre lot in St. Albert, and also ground up from there. So I found that having the land to put up and stage, the setup of a building, which I just found that we had less kind of parameters around us to put it up. But in those cases, I guess the bigger buildings, what do you think are the challenges there? Is it the meeting budgets?
Yeah, those are the tough things. It's, I wouldn't say it's tough. If you have the right, if you start with the right foundation, you start with the right drawings. And I think this is, one of the biggest problems in the construction industry. Everybody wants it faster. Everybody wants it cheaper.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to draw the line somewhere. So I think what happens is drawings, your consultants are probably the most important piece of the whole puzzle, I think, right? Yeah. And so if you
all of the team, yeah.
Absolutely, your design team, if the design team has the ability to do what they do, that they can do in a proper amount of time with a proper budget, drawings come out perfect, or as close to perfect as you can get. There's no gray areas at all, because we find lately, probably in the last 10 or 15 years. Everybody, like I said, everybody wants it, cheaper and faster. But what happens is when you get it cheaper and faster, it ends up costing you a lot more money because the amount of change orders that you get, it negates any savings that you have.
Like you get to pick one of the two.
Yeah,
two of the three.
Yeah, pick
Cheap,
two of the
fast,
three.
and good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got clients that want all three, and then we get. Most of our clients understand that you get only two of those.
Yeah, pick two.
Yeah,
Right.
And we're the best at that. So I think you can imagine which one is not my forte, but definitely I can side with the customer who's paying a lease, has a certain budget, and just wants to move their office. KDM had a program and a deliverable date. Everybody has to move for a reason. I'm sure the Volkswagen dealership had a deadline.
Yeah.
So your trick to handling deadlines, like how do you keep cool? How do you keep your head on your shoulders and just punch through and get it done? What's the trick? What do you tell your team?
I don't know. I think you just have to be very transparent with your clients. You just have to communicate with everybody. You know, I mean, so there's no surprises along the way.
You don't go silent.
No, if you go silent, then
Smart.
everything goes crazy,
Very
right?
smart.
Because, you know, since COVID, you know, the supply chain is terrible, right? Things take a lot longer, you know, to get now. So you just have to let everybody know when it's happening, you know, as opposed to all that, oh, I'll talk to them next week or whatever. No, you can't do that because everybody's got a deadline. Everybody has to be someplace. So,
Yep.
you know, you just have to let everybody know. But, you know, projects are generally taking, you know, maybe 2 or 3 months longer because
Post-COVID or something else?
well, post-COVID is, you know, we're still, you know, especially electrical fixtures, lighting, distribution, takes a while. Like,
That's slow.
you know, yeah, the whole
It
world,
hasn't caught up.
whole world kind of woke up at the same time and wanted everything at on the same day. So, makes it pretty difficult. But
Do you have a secret to like what? Tell everybody like at home watching.
if I wish,
What-
I wish I did.
Yeah, but
But
we're
then if I did, I'd probably have to
the
tell
next
you if I told you.
the next generation of contractors, or the next generation of people putting together our projects.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think? What's the lesson there? How do they keep cool? How do they keep communicating? How do we keep everyone on the same page? I sense that it's more and more often, even on my projects, that it's not. The communication is not there. What do you think the
Well,
lesson there is for you?
We need to communicate in a different manner. I think what's
Okay.
happening now is we're communicating text messages,
Text and emails, yeah.
right? We're not doing this. We're not sitting across the table and talking to people.
No, not
And
anymore.
I think you need to do that. There has to be a lot more of that happening now. We're regressing. We're working from home. We're becoming antisocial, and this business requires people to be social. You need to be talking all the time. And if you have a conversation across the table with clients, your subtrades, your personnel, there's no problem. You never have an issue, right? But when you're only talking once a week,
down too, I think.
I think it calms everybody down because if everybody knows what's going on in real time, there's no issues. You know, if somebody makes a mistake or something happens and you talk to them right off the bat,
Yep.
how do you change that? You know, we can control the things we can control. Other things are just out of it, so why worry about it, right? So it's just like we talk to our clients all the time. We talk to our subtrades, you know.
And that's the
Yeah, and that information.
your
as it
secret
changes.
on how to get that.
Well, I don't know if it's a
Calmer
secret.
heads.
I think it's kind of common sense more than anything, right?
Okay.
You know, stay attached, stay informed, right? I think communication for everything.
keep the lines open.
Every relationship.
Yep.
You know, being married. What do you do? What do you do
We
most?
forgot about
you
that. That's a
communicate.
communication
Exactly.
technique
So
there too.
this is like a marriage. Like you do this 10 or 12 hours a day, right? So you're married to somebody. So communicate, talk, let people know what's going on. Be transparent, right? Then there's no secrets. There's no problem at all. Like it's not a secret at all.
Wow. For the consultants that are watching us, what is your secret on, or I guess your technique of working with consultants and keeping everybody like on the same page
I don't
during a progress meeting or during the same meeting?
I like you know
What's the
if I
style?
could, if it was under my power, you know, I mean we all work for somebody, but
Yeah.
if you could, I would give consultants a lot more time to do what they need to do, right? And then everybody talk it out a little bit. But
So you're finding we're rushed or getting more rushed?
it seems to be more rushed, right? So you know, and not that we're missing a lot of things, but there are a few things in there, so it makes it difficult, right? Because you can't see everything that's in there. I mean, we're in a cut and paste era now.
Definitely, yeah.
If you could draw up a drawing with a pen and a ruler, well, that'd be different. But now it's a cut and paste era, so everybody's going to miss something along the way. So
Yeah, I agree. I think I had a mentor in my business. Whenever there'd be an issue, he would say, you know, we're going too fast. So I think that kind of rings true with what you just said. Going too fast or not having enough time on a project could lead to errors that obviously
problem.
just cost money at the end.
everybody that we work for is spending good money to get a good product.
Yep.
Right? So why would you try to take a shortcut, or why do they want a shortcut? But that's what happens when you don't have enough time. So right off the beginning, I mean, let us set a schedule that works. We'll work with the consultants, we'll work with the trades. Let everybody do what they've got to do. I mean, and it works out 99% of the time.
And or why rush a building that's going to be there for 20, 30
Well,
years?
absolutely, and you're spending that much money, right? This is a big deal for you.
Yeah, why try to get it done in 10 weeks or 12 weeks?
Exactly.
That is a rush, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you have long-term plans your firm has put in place, succession planning. When did you start succession planning? I'm asking for myself.
Yesterday.
So I'm already digging into that one. I'm 50 plus. You are 51, 52?
Close.
Close. So you started succession planning. What triggered it, and how smart were you back then, and what would you have done differently on your succession planning today?
I don't, I'm not really sure. I mean, it kind of sneaks up on you pretty quick.
Okay.
Right? One day you're 50 and the next day you're 60. Right? And you don't think that the world is going to end, and all of a sudden,
So 50 to 60 is fast?
Well,
So
it happens.
I should be prepared?
It happens pretty quick. I mean, you're focused on, everything that you're doing, and it does fly by pretty quick. But, we surrounded ourselves with really good people, some family. So it'll probably follow its next progression. But the industry is changing, so it's, our generation was kind of in-your-face generation, right? We started this thing with pagers.
Oh yeah,
right?
Not cell phones.
Not even a cell phone. So when you look back at that, and now
Fax
you see how
paper,
far
yeah.
it's coming, it's like I can't emphasize enough that the people that you have to relate to other people. You have to build relationships if you want to keep anything going. So succession's easy if you got people that can build relationships, and I think we've got 4 or 5 good people that can do that easily. So, right, and I'm not worried about it. It'll change. We got a lot of young people now, so it's going to be different. It's a different dynamic. It's a different thing. So,
and do you believe in that? Do you believe in what's called retiring, or because I know you don't believe in the cold turkey method. Like I don't think you're just going to walk away from the business.
No.
But how slow can you get before you're you're out of the business?
I don't know. I think pre-COVID, it was pretty easy. You could probably say, hey, you know what? I'm kind of done. You hate to say it, to sound more, but you start to bury your friends. That's not a lot of fun. So people start 54, 55, 56, 61.
Yeah, you start to
and
get old, but that's not old, right?
Hold on here a second here. So, I don't know. I think it's a thing, but COVID comes along, kicks the crap out of everybody. Puts us in a completely different mindset now.
Or delayed retirement for some.
Delayed retirement.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of, it sounds kind of strange, but I'm kind of finding it interesting now. Because
post-COVID to be in the business, you mean?
Yeah, when you're in business a long time, not to sound like you're good at what you do, but you get better at what you do. So your problem solving gets better every day. But you have to go through ups and downs to do that. Well, COVID comes along and puts us right on our ass. Now you have a whole new set of problems, right? And they're interesting problems, right? Supply chain, workers, the economy,
money,
money,
interest rates. Look at that.
Absolutely.
Inflation's crazy.
Everything has changed now, so it's a whole new dynamic. So it's kind of thrown a little bit of, wood on the fire, and it's kind of made it more interesting. So, do I want to retire? Yeah, absolutely. Sure, at some point you do. I mean, your whole life you think, but when you get closer to it,
you don't. You want to keep your foot in the game.
You do and you don't, but you know what you're walking away from? You're walking away from this. You're walking away from the people that you meet along the way. And in,
you better have a pretty
years,
good plan, right?
I've met a lot of people, and just to step away, right?
Good for you. Yeah, your network is huge after all
your
those
network.
years.
Yeah, your network you don't even realize how big your network is, but you walk away from that and you're going, well, I'm kind of enjoying what I'm doing. I try to do it as long as you can, but on the other hand, you got responsibilities elsewhere, right?
Anything that you would share is, obviously we're not going to cut you cold turkey into retirement. You should have a game plan after.
You need something to do.
Something to do at home.
You absolutely need something.
And you plan for that. Do you remember your dad? How old was your dad when you retired, and what did he do?
He was 65.
And just went golfing and
he
never came back.
Hung out with Mom.
Yeah.
Never came back.
So you're going to become a scratch golfer for sure.
But Dad's a social butterfly, so he just gets out there. He talk to anybody, right? But I think all I've ever heard from people, Johnny, don't retire. You got to have something. You need something to do, and it's not cutting the grass, and it's not reading books. You really need something to do. You need to be productive. Give something back.
Yeah, and feel useful.
So I think we need to find something like that.
Right? That's
well, you want to do that for sure.
Let's take it back to work. Obviously, the past COVID was a slowdown for us. slowdown for a lot of people in the industry. Now that we're coming out of COVID and the business has picked up, where do you see it going? Has inflation and interest rates thrown a loop in it, or are you just finding that your only problem is finding teams and not work?
I think everything is just going to start to smooth out again.
Okay.
I mean, we've gone to such extremes. Even I don't think I realized how important, like China is to our economy as a supplier. I didn't realize it, but boy, when they shut down, and then all of a sudden they have to ramp back up again, and everybody wants that product. Like the whole world comes out of hibernation. That's pretty incredible.
And hard,
And it's hard. It absolutely is hard. So supply and demand, forcing up prices, but at some point the supply will meet demand, and all of a sudden I think things will level off. You can sort of see it now. I mean, prices were going up every month. We were getting a bulletin every month.
Yeah, people weren't holding their prices like your subs weren't.
Yeah, it was like lobster, right? Drywall was like lobster.
Up, down, up, down.
So, so now it's all starting to
Has
settle
that leveled
out
up?
again.
Okay.
Like manpower is getting better, right? But yeah, it's a different dynamic. It is for sure.
Will the business change post-COVID in regards to technology and digitizing the site and all the software now, the iPads you guys are using on site, or you haven't seen a big change in that sense?
No,
right now?
you see it every day. I mean, there's new technology every day.
That's right.
I mean, one of the things I thought was very interesting about it, but we looked into it a year ago, is we were doing 3D scanning, right? So that's a great big 20-pound machine.
It is, yeah. It's working well for you.
Now they make it on. You could put it on your hard hat and walk around a job site, and it 3D scans. So, every day things start to change. So, I like it. It's interesting to see what is changing. So, but I don't know if it's a bump in it or it's going to ramp right up after COVID. I don't think COVID just stopped the world. That's all we did, right?
Yeah, it was almost like a temporary 24-month hold.
I think once it gets back to normal, I think probably about a year.
We'll be okay.
Yeah, but I think I'd really like to see if you could, is people getting back, into the office, into more social environment.
Yeah, and away from the home office. That's right.
Yeah, for sure.
That'll come back to you. Thinking of the office, let's go back to Nystad. How big is the firm today?
Oh, it's small now, right? We probably have a dozen people now.
A dozen in-house.
Right.
So I know you got your own head office, so that's good.
Yeah.
And the work is, again, cross Alberta, or have you gone outside of Alberta, Western Canada?
Like, we've worked all over Canada. So
currently, are you chasing outside of Alberta, or are you trying to stay in Alberta?
Not really, but we have a lot of clients that will ask. I mean, we built a hotel last year in Prince Albert. So, it's not a problem doing that, because the network that we had from that, the sub-trade base that we have in most of the cities, I mean, you have to update it, of course, but, Nystad has really gone anywhere. It's not, I don't think it's that difficult to do. We've been up like all across the country. Right?
And it's where the work took you guys, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you get, Edmonton, I love the city, like I said earlier. It's a great city, right? Calgary's a great city, but when you can get out of the province, get out somewhere and take a look, and our jobs are in the office most of the time, so when you and I can get out.
Why not, right? Any regrets to relocating to Edmonton back then, or now that we see Calgary as such a strong market?
No, grew up in Calgary, fantastic city, love the city, but Edmonton is it's more suited for what we do. It's, call it a blue collar town, call it what you want, but it's just a great city. I think it's a great city. So,
and you've left your mark with all your fantastic projects, scattered across the province.
Yeah, we'd stay here for sure.
What would be some of your memorable projects that you think are more signature that we see on your portfolio?
There's lots of them. I mean, I like the restaurant base was good. I thought that was fantastic. I like doing some of the older projects that we did, like we did the Strathcona Hotel, the Tipton Block, kind of preserving some of the
That's right.
the old
Restoring
buildings.
some of the great buildings on White Ave. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fantastic building.
Beautiful work too.
Yeah, it turned out great. But yeah, kind of those things are. You get a little older and you realize, hey, you don't want to start knocking all this stuff down.
No.
Want to kind
So
of
doing
protect
those
some
restoration jobs on White Ave, anything
How do you mean?
Anything gone right or wrong, or it could be because they're so old.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good
structurally.
We had a fantastic developer there. I think very open-minded. knows, he had background with PCL, and so he knew the construction, part of it. So, getting into those old buildings, I'm sure, just kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah, the Strathcona Hotel on the corner to me looks like super challenging for your team.
Oh, it's
and putting it back together the way it is now as a commercial space.
If there's ever another tornado, go there.
Yeah.
It'll protect you.
Wow.
It's not going anywhere anytime soon, that building. So.
Yeah, you guys did a great job, and I like what you just said, saving it on such an important corner in the city.
Yeah, those are fun jobs. I mean, you start to look. I mean, you look at that project. It was 110 years old, and you're starting to pull it apart, nail, board by board, nail by nail, and you realize that somebody nailed that in, 110 years ago.
Wow.
When there was nothing around.
Less or more challenge on a Strathcona project versus working, like I know you've done work for us at the airport here in Edmonton and Calgary. Logistically, are those more challenging than doing an old hotel on White Ave?
No. I think the preservation part of it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very difficult. No, not difficult, but more challenging for sure.
Yeah, so many things to think, and structurally, right?
Because we weren't around. I didn't see it being built. So every time you pull something apart, you see how they built it. So it's interesting.
And you've seen,
very interesting.
because I believe that hotel was built in a few phases.
Yeah,
so you came back and renovated all the phases at once.
Yeah, all of it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Great work.
It looks great. Thank you.
I think it turned out really nice.
TriStat's kind of kept a very simple program.
Yeah.
I mean, we're old school. I think we're very transparent, right? I mean, we are absolutely nothing without the people that we're surrounded with. So whether it's consultants, whether it's our workers, or whether, and especially subtrades, like TriStat is nothing without subtrades. So, I think we put together a pretty good team, and it just works. This business is not rocket science.
No.
I mean, I had to get into, I went to Nate, and I said, I want to be a carpenter. And she said, well, can you show me your grade 7 education?
Come on.
And I said, grade 7?
7?
In 1975. And I said, geez, you're telling me I wasted like 5 years of my life?
Because you went beyond 7. So you could have went 5 years ago.
So not that we're putting ourselves down, but it's this is not rocket science,
And no regrets, like you would not change what you did.
Absolutely no regrets at all.
Like you did not
should I have been a brain surgeon?
Crisis,
No.
or you're like, why am I in construction? I should be in drywall.
No, I've been having a good time.
You loved it.
I've been having a good time. I've been having a really good time.
Well, it shows in your work, and it shows in your just demeanor right now, because obviously I don't meet you only for interviews. Whenever I meet you outside of this office or at a site or at the airport or at the golf course, whatever, you're just so pumped about the industry that tells me that you were able to program your career around just being happy and being happy to have the business and grateful for a beautiful family and a beautiful team around you. And that energy, I think, shows up in your work.
Well, I'm thinking when you like your job, right? If you like your job, you like what you're doing, it's pretty easy, and then the people that you meet along the way, right? It's fun. Like everybody that, that we talk with, all the sub-trades, I mean, we could all go have a beer together, Like that's kind of the relationship that we deal with. Like everybody's on exactly the same plateau. We don't put, you're a consultant, you're the architect, you designed it, or the owner. It takes this entire group of people, from the laborers to the architects to the engineers to the project managers. Without those pieces, they just don't get done. So it doesn't matter. Like if you want to grab a broom or you want to grab a pencil and start drawing, right? It takes an entire team to do it. So, it's a
That's interesting. And you spoke to on camera, I'm not sure, we're still rolling. So you spoke to on camera earlier, that I think is a trade secret that you would know and nobody else maybe knows, or maybe others are. So I'll reiterate it so people catch it. You said that one of your secrets to your success is the amount of communication you put into your clients, your subs. And so that can't be forced. So liking people, loving people, liking to talk to people, I think comes natural to you. Right?
Well, I think it's.
I think you like humans.
I think when you go home,
it shows up though.
What do you do? You communicate with your wife, with your kids, right? That's how you become a happy. I think you're a happy family. Like when people are talking, so it's just a bigger family, from 8 to whatever during the day, right? You're just one big family. Like these people. I mean, there's a lot of friends that I have in there that,
You got really good friends.
that I know, some of these people. I mean, I had a partner, unfortunately passed away, but it's like being married.
Yeah.
So it's different. So, but everybody in our business, I mean, you just want to, like, we're all family. I think Trystad's kind of more of a family-oriented thing.
Than just a big anonymous brand, right?
Yeah, I think we're very family-oriented, even with the people that work for us or work with us. I don't really say work for us very often, but we all work together. I got my part I got to do. You have your part you throw in there, right? Right.
I think that really shows up on your work.
I think so. And
the energy on your sites too.
I think the group of people, like especially the one that we just finished off, Volkswagen. I think everybody can be pretty proud of themselves. Everybody that was involved, right? So.
Yeah, I'm proud of the work they did.
Oh, absolutely. From the owner right down to the guys that were cleaning up at the end. Right?
Turned out great, man.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I want that tour. Don't forget.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
That was awesome. Thanks for coming downtown, man.